Thank you so much for, thank you, thank you, making it on the team call tonight. My name is Megan Eggleston. For those of you who might be new to the team, I am the founder of Team Phoenix and a 10-star diamond coach, elite, two-time elite coach, and I hopefully I'm not always the one on these calls. So hopefully we have someone else sign up for next time. But I think you've been seeing a lot of me on these team calls lately, and I'm sorry about that. But so tonight's call is going to be, I generally like to do calls that are a little bit more action-based. Like I want to give you action steps. I want to give you like things that you can write down and follow through with. And there's going to be a little bit of that, but I think we have to revisit an important topic that we don't talk about. Before we get there, I want to talk about two things. First of all, the cruise. So I hear it sold out like within like moments. So if you guys have not gotten on the wait list, get on the wait list. I mean, I promise you, if you get on the wait list soon and you hit Success Club, you will get a spot. It just happens. People get off. People, lose their spots all the time. So get on that wait list. Something to remember with these kind of, these things. I know it's very frustrating for a lot of people to, be there right on time, and then, just remember, like, we didn't get involved with this for trips. Like, I know it's discouraging, but we didn't sign up to be coaches for trips. So that's just like an amazing benefit that comes as part of being a coach. If you are successful, you can earn a trip. So, please don't ever let that just make you discouraged. We're in the business of helping people. Number two, what was the other thing? I have notes. Let me refer to my notes. Oh, Team Cup. So if you are not familiar with the Team Cup, if you have never been a part of a team, Beachbody Classic, Team Cup, they have a Fall Classic. They're all very similar. They do them every few months. And they're always a little bit different. Sometimes it's teams of 5. There's been once it's been a team of 2. There has been another time it's a team of 3. But the Team Beachbody Cup, this time for February, team of 5, you get 4 other coaches. If you're a working coach at any level, well, if you're on this call, you're a working coach. So everybody in this call should be on a Team Cup. I don't care where you are in the business. If you're brand new, I'm going to be encouraging all my new coaches that just signed up in this month to be on a, spoiler alert, I'm going to be coming after you, to be on a Team Cup team. You will be encouraged and coached. You will have guidance to, from your upline leadership to know how to do this. Basically, you're going to be trying to do the same things you're already trying to do, but you're going to be doing it with a team and actually maybe some prizes for it. So why not? So definitely reach out to your upline if you need help finding a team. Those of you who are my newer coaches, I will be certainly helping you get on a team. I will facilitate that for you. So that we can pull together some people. So that was the two big things I want to talk about before we get into the content of our topic. Like I said, this is not something that this is going to be a little bit different format from my typical calls. I really like to give you some good action steps, but this is something that I think I kind of put off because I feel like it's already drilled into our heads. But I think I take that for granted anymore. And that is the topic of our why. I feel like we hear it all the time. Oh, yes, you have to know your why. When I sign up a new coach, we talk about that on our Getting Started Right call. We say you have to know what your why is. Let's go over that together so I know what that is so I can, help you stay accountable. When you're in your new coach training, that's the topic that's brought up. We say you've got to have your why. You've got to know your why. So I feel like it's like, broken record. However, I think I'm going to bring it to you from a different, I'm going to take a different angle at it. And it's been something that I kind of have come to, I feel like there's a piece missing when we talk about how to go about applying your why. I think that's kind of the missing piece, and that's what I want to talk about, is how do we apply our why? Because that is, I think, the missing piece. Okay, sure, I know what it is, but now what? Then what? I mean, we talk about it in context of your why is what keeps you motivated each day. Your why is what helps you to get through the tough stuff, like the objections and the rejections and, the days you're just not feeling it, you're not excited. So the why is supposed to be that thing, right? It's supposed to be what gets you through, the why that makes you cry. So I think what I'm gonna share today might help you to actually apply it, because if you're saying I have a great why, but I'm still struggling here, I hope this is going to help you. It's helped me a lot, and I've kind of gathered some information and some application from 3 different things I've been experiencing in the past few months. One being a leadership podcast that I've been listening to, and one's been a sermon series at my church. Our church is a strategic partner with North Point Ministries and Andy Stanley's church. So many of you may have heard of Andy Stanley. So we get his messages. So there's been a sermon series from him that's really kind of driven this home, the leadership podcast that I've been listening to. And then I've been going through some small business consulting. My business has, grown a lot faster than I ever thought possible. And I don't want to work any more than I currently do. So I'm trying to figure out ways to be more efficient. So, I'm always constantly trying to figure it out so I don't have to actually work harder or work smarter, right? So I'm going through this small business consulting kind of thing with somebody who's really successful with this. So it's kind of funny that each of these different things have kind of helped me wrap my head around how you apply your why in your business. So take some notes, even though I don't have like some clear 1, 2, 3, 4 bullet points for you. I think through talking through this, there might be something that rings up, kind of strikes you like, yeah, that is, that helps me, or if I think about it that way, that's going to help me, moving forward. So I hope I have some little useful nuggets that you can write down, even if they aren't clear-cut, outline, formatted action steps for you. Okay, so let me get to my notes. So this is kind of like a revisit or revision, really, to the concept of the power of your why. We're talking about how we apply it. There's a couple things before we get started, and these are things you might want to write down, but there are a couple things that I think we have to kind of get out of the way. There are 2 things that have to be givens before any of this is true. Okay, for any of this is to be received by you, or for any of this to be effective for you. There's 2 things that have to be a given. Okay, and the first one is that the systems that are in place work. Okay, let's just assume this is true. It is, okay? It's true. It's true. The new coach training that you go through, it works if you do it. The 3 vital behaviors that the company gives us, they actually are legit. The free, group system that we share with you to run free groups to get new contacts, it works. The Power Hour, as it's laid out, they work. We can just all assume that's true. Can I get some amens? Can I get some, something in the chat box? They work, right? If you work them. So we have to assume that you are confident in the leadership that you have on this team, that these systems work before this is to be true. And we can assume that because there's a lot of success on the team. Our team continues to move. Thank you, Amanda. The team continues, and I'm not just talking about my own success. When I go into my back office, I'm seeing your numbers continue to climb. I'm seeing more important people hitting Success Club. This team is blowing it out of the water. We're number 63 in the network. That's insane, right? That's insane. So the people who are using the systems are successful. Yes, they are. Those who come in and latch onto them right away are more successful sooner. It's just the case. I've watched it happen. I've watched people not do it, and they're not finding success. If you're sitting at a point where you're not seeing success, you can probably look to the past week or month or 2 or 3 and see where you're not putting in the daily Power Hour, correct? I'm not on a high horse. I do it myself. I get lazy. at times, and I see it happening in my own business. I get a little cocky. Oh yeah, I got this. I hit Success Club already, so I'm just gonna like chill a little bit. And then what happens in a couple weeks? The well's a little dry. So I'm not saying I'm immune to this. So the thing is, you got to work. Yes, we can assume this is true. That's number one. These systems work if you work them. Two, the other thing, oh, I'm sure it's Shalene. She's always parachuting. Nope, I lied. The other thing you have to assume to be true, which is not as much, which I think is going to be a little harder for everybody else. I think we can, number one, most everybody is going to say, okay, I know you're right. They work if I work them. Number two is going to be a little harder for you. It was hard for me. But I'm telling you it's true. Can I just be a know-it-all right now for a second? I'm going to be a know-it-all just for like this moment. This is true. Whether you're ready to embrace it or not. The second thing we have to assume to be true is that brave leadership or amazing coaches, they're not necessarily extroverted, fearless, or courageous. Okay, there's kind of this, I think, this myth. In order to be a brave leader or a strong leader or amazing coach, I have to be all those things: fearless, extroverted, and courageous, and bold. And I don't believe that's true. It's not. I look at the people, like, many of the successful coaches in our business, who have built amazing businesses, not embracing all those things yet. Like it's a growth process. Like I'm never going to be I'm not extroverted. I probably never will be. I'm more courageous. I'm a little more fearless. Bold leadership, or strong leadership, is more about vision and purpose than anything else. So that might be a little harder to swallow. You're probably, because I know you all, pretty much, it's a rare that a person comes on my team and is like, I've got this. Like I'm really good at sales. Like I'm gonna be so good. I'm gonna be a rock star. No one comes on saying that. If they did, I might be like, you might want to find a different team. You're not gonna fit in around here. Most of the time they come in just saying, I'm really nervous. Like I'm shy. Like I hate using social media. I'm nervous. Like I never sell a thing. I've always been like, I don't believe in myself. I lack confidence. That's almost every message I get from a new coach. They're excited though, and they have, they have the desire to help people, and that's what they lead with. So pretty much every coach comes in the same way, and the successful coaches have just moved forward with vision and purpose rather than all the reasons they're not going to be successful. Okay, so those are the two givens. Like I said, number two is going to be a little harder for you because you kind of probably still feel like, but look at you, Megan, you're a webinar, you're courageous. Well, no, I didn't start this way, and I still don't love this. Like I'm pretty sure before you go on this call that I'm going to mess it all up. But I am, like, I don't. This is something that you grow and over time. So let's just assume those things are true. The systems work, and you do not have to be fearless, bold and extroverted, and to be effective and strong as a coach and as a leader. Okay. So those are the things we're going to just kind of get out of the way before any of this can actually, you can actually apply any of this to your life or to your business. So you come into this business with a shallow why, and I say I don't mean shallow. I don't mean that to be critical, because we most often come in because we want to help people. We enjoy helping people. We can see where these products could benefit. We can see how we could benefit from like the rewarding feeling that we get from helping people. We need accountability. So those are, by shallow, I don't mean bad. These are great reasons. These are perfect reasons to become a Beachbody coach. You want to help people. You have a heart of service. It makes you feel good to serve others, and you need accountability. And you need cash. That's okay. It's okay. desire an income. So that's what I mean by shallow. I mean, it's just kind of, they're a little bit about you, and that's good. That's okay. Like, we should want things for ourselves, and, you know, we should be pursuing things for our family. So yes, that's okay. However, what I think is missing is, it's not, sometimes that's not enough to get us out of bed. Sometimes that why isn't what's going to push us past the tough stuff. And especially when those whys are about you and how you feel, we'll let ourselves down all day long, right? Like, but we don't want to let others down. So I think there's something missing when that's not enough to get you out of bed. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna try to help you. I'm gonna try to help you expand your why today. And because the reason this business consultant that I had kind of helping me, he's asking me, where are the strengths and weaknesses in your business? And I'm trying to figure out what systems are not working, or, what's not, how can I revamp this to make this a little better? But the reality is, like, the systems are all there. It's really a matter of those coaches who desire this business, they have goals. There's a reason they're not adhering to the power hour. There's a reason that I might slack in certain areas. That's the bottom line, is the not actually following through with those things. And he's like, so the question is, well, what is keeping us there? And so the starting place for us is developing a mission, and having a mission statement, which is sort of like your why. And so your mission statement, so I'm not asking you to do a mission statement. It's kind of all the same thing. Your why, your mission statement, or what I'm going to introduce to you today is this idea of what breaks your heart. And this is what Andy Stanley, this is what he shared that really helped me to define exactly what it is that's going to make me not just get out of bed and work, but the how behind it. So that's going to be the piece that I think is going to help you today, is the how. So so it's going to be the what that gets me to do the work, but there's going to be the how behind it. Okay. I know you're like, Megan, where are you going with this? Like, just get to the point. Okay. So think about what breaks your heart. It doesn't have to be something like melodramatic. It doesn't have to be like, like a sob story that, brings you to tears. Well, it can be. It can be. And this is going to differ for everybody else. And if you're a new coach coming into this, you're kind of just in the early stages, I'm not going to ask you to kind of get this deep yet. You've really just got to learn the fundamentals first. Going through the motions of learning the basics. This is going to, having that, starting why is wonderful. And don't feel like you have to have some big, heart-wrenching why yet. If you have it, great, but your job right now is just to figure out the systems that are in place, to understand what a power hour is, so how to actually do it. Okay, so what breaks your heart? Think about it. It's going to be so different for everybody, and it might even evolve over time. And let me kind of give you some examples of what I mean by what breaks your heart. Perhaps you're you see so many other working women out there who also are taking care of children, that you're like, it breaks my heart that they don't know that there's a way to live a healthy lifestyle. They just kind of feel like, it's impossible to not have, pick up pizza every night and, eat packaged and preserved foods because, their life is so crazy. So maybe that breaks your heart, that people aren't aware of ways to, take care of their bodies. I'm just saying, it's really important to have kind of a little, like a kind of specific example like that. Perhaps it is for you. It breaks my heart that there are so many families living paycheck to paycheck when they don't have to. So with children, and you want to show them a better way. Or perhaps it's what breaks your heart is people don't know about whole food nutrition and You feel like it's got to be your mission to educate them on the benefits of, and this will be an expansion of your why. It's not your entire why, but there has to be something that's not about you. And I think that's kind of the point that I'm getting to, is there's going to have to be something at some point that's not about you. It's okay to be about you at some point, at some level, but there's got to be something about this that's not about you. Okay, we all want to help people be healthier, whatever that means for them. We're all Team Beachbody coaches. The mission is to end the trend of obesity, right? You've heard of that. We're all on that same mission. We organically using these products and drinking Shakeology, they're gonna get healthier. Yes. So we're all on that same sort of mission. But I personally feel like you've got to have something that breaks your heart specifically, that's not about you. And mine's kind of evolved. It started about me. Want to hear a story? My why originally was, I had the same ones. I wanted accountability. I wanted something for me at home. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I needed to use my brain because I was tired. It was turning to mush. So I wanted to provide value outside my home, and that was where it started. And then I started to see that I could actually be kind of good at it. So then it was like, well, it started to be even more about me. It was like, I'm going to prove I can do this. I'm going to prove to myself I can do this. Well, I'm going to prove to my husband I can do this. Well, now I'm going to prove to her, because she keeps judging me, that I can do this. It started to get really I wanted to prove that I could do something. But then I realized, okay, I've learned how to sell a challenge bag. I've kind of hit Success Club a few times. Okay, now I can do it. So now what? I've kind of, that's uninspiring, right? So I started to dig deeper into, I had to dig deeper, because that wasn't going to be enough. It was going to be about me. And so that has evolved over time. And just, I'll give you an example of what my why is currently, and then I'm going to show you how my why is going to determine my how. And so that when you kind of find out what breaks your heart and how that's going to determine your how, and I'm going to give you some ideas of the how in a second. So my current why, as I'm working through this with this business consulting, as I'm listening to these sermons, these leadership podcasts, okay, what breaks my heart? What is my mission? What is my purpose? Here's the question that you can, if you're writing things down, this might be one of those things. What do you want people to line up at the end of your life and thank you for? Think about that. What is that thing that you want them to know? Or that you want them to be like, so-and-so, that they really showed me this, or they really, I owe them, this for this. So right now, sorry, I'm trying for my notes. What breaks my heart is that there are women who out there that are like the me I was 3 years ago, living in low self-confidence, living in, low self-esteem. They quit so many things so many times. They didn't believe in themselves. They were shy. They were so concerned about people think. There's so many women out there that I think have so much in them to give and to serve, that they are so held back by those things. It breaks my heart that they do not feel empowered. They don't feel like they have control of those things, that they just feel like these are character flaws. That's who they are. So I honestly believe that if that existed in me and I'm able to move to this place, then that means there's got to be so many more out there that just don't know that there's more for them, and that they can have fulfillment in all areas of their life, and that they can find joy in the journey. They can find joy in growing through these things. It breaks my heart, and so let me show you how this is going to determine my how. Okay, so once you determine what breaks your heart, it's going to be your litmus test for how you do a few things. So you can write these things down. It's going to, what breaks your heart is going to be your litmus test for what your daily work looks like. I mean, it all should encompass a power hour, the vital behaviors. But it's going to depend on what that why is. So here's, or what breaks your heart. It's going to determine how you make decisions. So, example, if I am, as a leader, if I have a coach that I feel is capable of more, but is holding themselves back, and I ask them to step up to a team call when they're not comfortable. I mean, that's a decision, because I'm thinking, I know this is somebody who there's so much more in her than she realizes, so I'm going to put her in this position. I'm going to ask her for, that's what I mean. Like, does that make sense? So it's about growing that leader. It's about her seeing her potential. So that's a decision I would make. It's going to determine how I set my goals. Okay, so at the end of 2015, I sat down with Craig, my corporate liaison. We kind of talked about this, if you guys made it on the call. And I was like, I really don't know. Okay, my goal is I want to end the year at 10-star diamond. But now I'm like, okay, so I'm a high-ranking coach. That's great. Way to go, Megan. Awesome. So, I mean, I have this opportunity, this platform. Okay, clearly I can help people get to diamond. I'm so proud of that. But is 15-star where I go just because that's what they do? That's the top rank in the company. Like, is that enough for me to like just shoot for a goal because it's the next big thing? That was becoming like anticlimactic for me. And I hope that doesn't discourage anybody. Like, yes, rank advance, go for it. I'm going for 15-star. Okay, just so you know. But I'll tell you why I came to that decision. I don't desire the recognition. That's why I was holding back. I don't desire the recognition. I don't really want to get on a team call, like on a national makeup call, quite honestly. But guess what? If they come to me, you better believe I'm going to take that opportunity to show these other women that you guys, like, you can do this. So that's why I'm going to determine, even though I don't want to, I don't desire to talk to the entire coaching network to be judged. I don't desire to have my face plastered on, these walls at the corporate office. I don't desire to walk on stage in the gown on the 15-star recognition. Like, I prefer to just kind of, be in the background. That's been Megan for the 30-some years. I'm the wallflower. I'll take, just off the shoulder of the girl who's getting the recognition. Like, I want to be up there. I want to be part of it, but I'm not quite sure I want to be right there. So that's why I was like, I don't know, do I just go to 15-star because it's what you do? Or do I go deeper for money? Because I don't know if you know this, but rank doesn't always mean money. So if I'm working on these hours, if I'm putting this time in, shouldn't I just like be practical about this and go deeper for, just to maximize income? So I'm sitting here having this conversation. And so when I realized when I had my litmus test was, if you truly desire to show to empower people to show they're made for more, then having a superstar team is going to attract people. It's going to give your team confidence. Like, there was all these reasons that weren't about me, because if it was about me, I kind of think I'd take the going deeper and not getting, but that actually now excites me. That now that I have that litmus test, that I can be excited about it. I can be excited about waking up each day, because now I know what breaks my heart. It's going to determine how I use social media. Have you guys noticed how that's changed over the years? If you've been following me, that's changed over time. When I was a new coach, I love fitness, guys. Like, that's my background. Y'all know, a lot of y'all know that. I love health. Like, I love nutrition. I'm a nerd when it comes to that stuff. And so my why in the beginning was I really wanted to help people with, like, it was really about getting them to eat healthier. And I wanted them to know, so my social media would tell them in a nice way. I've always wanted to be non-judgmental. I've never wanted to be one of those like know-it-all people about fitness and health. I want to encourage people in a kind way to have made healthier decisions. So you never saw me being obnoxious about it, but I was like, I was talking about artificial sweeteners. I was talking about, low fat foods and how you don't go, and how in Whole Foods, and, you'll see all my like fitness propaganda, which was good for me at the time. It was fine. It was good. It was where I was at with my why. But it's really evolved. And if you go to my social media, you'll see how I'm approaching it differently, because you'll see I get really real. You'll see I get kind of like down and dirty about my, my ugly, because if people need to see that I have anxiety, I've had anxiety. Like, I don't always, I know where you've been. I know where you are right now. I've been there. So you're going to see that my social media is going to reflect what breaks my heart. Okay. So can you say that about your why right now? Can you say that, whatever you've identified as your why, and if you haven't yet, like, that's your homework right now, and you get this call, like, you've got to write this down. You've got to know, what's moving you each day. Can you honestly say that your why can really direct all your decisions in your social media and your, what your daily work looks like? If you can't, you might want to take, this is, your opportunity to take some time and figure out what it is that breaks your heart, so that you can have this litmus test to, gauge it by. A couple things is, the point I put out was, what would you like people to at the end of your life to thank you for? Here's something to know about this mission you have, this charge you have, is it's going to require something of you. You're going to miss opportunities. You're going to say no to good things. You're going to, in order to actually live this out, it's going to cost you some time. You're going to put some risk out. You're going to do things that many people won't do if you are truly in this for someone other than you. And I am of the mindset that we're on this earth to serve. I don't mean, that we can't work hard for ourselves and for our families. I'm doing that. But it's going to be really lonely when you are only working for you. Also, if you're only in it for you, that's what's going to hold you back from reaching out, because it's about you. It's about you when you are too concerned with objections. It's about you when you're concerned about those rejections. And once you taste purpose, once you actually see what it feels like to deliver this purpose, it's really hard to go back. Those of you who are like tasting that purpose know what I mean. Like, you can't go back from that. And so, I think it's kind of getting to that point that, getting past those comfort zones, because I think once you get on the other side of that comfort zone, you get to feel that purpose. I don't think you really do until you, I don't think you can taste that purpose until you get on the other side of that comfort zone. One of the notes I took from Andy Stanley's sermon was, purpose is always found just on the other side of the border of the what's in it for me. And, we're called for an abundant life, and giving your life away, gives you abundant life. We are life preservers by nature. By nature, we want to protect ourselves. By nature, we don't want to put out these invitations. We don't want to put out the scary posts. But we want to preserve ourselves. We want to preserve our reputation. We want to preserve what people think of us. But that's all about us. It's all about you and not about others. So he says the best thing that you can do for you is to not be in it for you. Say no to you so that you can say yes to something bigger than you. And that's what we're talking about, something bigger than us. So, okay, that's all the notes I have from that. So, I want you to think about this something that's bigger than you. I want you to identify what it is outside of the shallow why, or the why that's for your family, and you. And sometimes that's enough. Sometimes that's enough to drive people. And sometimes your drive and ambition is enough. Like, I'm a pretty driven person. But there's a point you get to when you just are excelling from drive and ambition, where you get stuck and it feels empty. Okay, so even if you're not there yet, if you're just thriving on your own ambition, that's great. I mean, drive and ambition is wonderful. and you can get pretty far with it, I think, but it becomes empty when it's at some point. It's going to be empty. So if you haven't hit that point yet, good for you. Right now is the time to find that something that's bigger than you, so that you can have that litmus test to gauge all your decisions off of. Another thing that I think it's helped me with, okay, I've noticed this. This is just a practical thing that I think it will help. Maybe it's an illustration. I've noticed these beautiful coach recruiting posts. I'm just using applications that I know, so I hope this you're able to take something from it. You know how some of the top coaches will do these beautiful glammy recruiting posts, and I've done some. I've used some beautiful headshots, and I'll still use some of my more professional, polished images for social media. And so I'm thinking, that's the way to go. I mean, these girls are doing it and doing it well. So I'm going to try this. And I've done a few like this, and I've played with a lot of ideas. But what I've found is I'm not attracting the people that are most like me when I do that necessarily. Or I stand not to. I could. The place that I'm finding the most success is the more it's something different. I don't really know how to describe it, but it wasn't me. I wasn't using my litmus test. I was using I'm gonna be inspired by something, and being inspired by people is great. And I didn't think I didn't necessarily copy anybody, but I kind of used what was working for them and made it kind of my own. But I wasn't really using my litmus test. I was just thinking, well, this worked for her, so I'm gonna do it. And when I used my litmus test, I was able to come up with something much more organic and natural and effective for me and what my purpose is. So, that's just kind of hey, some of these things that I'm doing might be really successful for you. They might not always work for you because you're gonna have a different litmus test. So please use my stuff for inspiration and other coaches who are successful, but recognize that just because someone is insanely successful with it doesn't mean it's going to be what's right for you. This kind of came up sort of in our clean eating, about our clean eating groups. Sometimes, sure, this 5-day system is super effective for a lot of us. I can rack up some Success Club points with an awesome 5-day system. However, what if you just hate clean eating and you just want to help people figure out how to meal prep? So using figuring out a different free group situation that you really feel embodies, what your message is and your mission. Does that make sense? So my point is, yes, we have systems that work, but recognize that just because they're not all the same, and we all have different missions, and that's good and that's beautiful. So take some time, or take a moment now as you make decisions in your business to use that litmus test. Obviously, there's going to be some non-negotiables, like those givens that I share with you, like these systems. Though these systems are in place and they work. But using that litmus test. So the bottom line was, what's going to get me out of bed to actually do that work? What's going to why am I going to do the power hour on the days I don't want to? Why am I going to get out of bed and work out when I don't want to? Why am I going to do a 5-day group every month and a challenge group every month and put in the effort to attract the people? It's hard work. What's going to get me out of bed to do it? Is it just I want to pay off my student loans? Maybe, but I don't think so. Not long term anyway. So it's time to dig deep and think a little bit outside of just you and your little circle, and think of the bigger purpose that you have on this earth. All right. So hey, this message, this is what I'm sharing with you tonight. But I'm gonna close it off here in a minute. The decision to have this call is a part of my why. It's part of what breaks my heart. I believe that everyone on this team and on this earth, but those of you who have been brought into this world of Team Phoenix, you have so much to give. You have a special gift that only you can give. I believe that. And so that's why I feel like it's important for you to, for me to sit here and tell you, if you can think outside of you and, what you can offer this world, you can be insanely successful with it if you just allow yourself to believe that you have that in you. So that's why I feel like I have to share this whole why concept. I don't like talking conceptually. I need some steps. Like you tell me what to do, I'm gonna do it. That's the kind of way I think. But I knew this was a time. It was time to have this why call and apply my kind of take on it. All right, guys, thank you so much for being on the call tonight. I hope that you took away something from this. I would love it. I would love it if you would share what breaks your heart with me. I'm not gonna ask you to share that openly if you're not comfortable. On the team page, I'll go ahead into the event page, and I'll just maybe post there and say, share below what breaks your heart, for those of you who maybe think you can identify that right now, or you're starting to identify, even if it's kind of still piecey, but you're starting to develop it. Because I feel like it's kind of been in pieces for me. When I was asked to kind of say it, I was so inarticulate. I was like, I knew it was in my head, but I really hadn't put it into words. And so it sounded I think it kind of sounded messy. So you might still kind of be in that stage where you can't really verbalize it, and that's okay. But I would just love to hear what you're thinking. I would love to hear what's on your mind, if you don't mind sharing that. Okay, so I'm gonna post that in the group. I hope this was helpful to you guys. Have an awesome night, and we will do a live power hour in the group at this time next week. All right, have a good night.